You have reached Red Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing Star Wars Return of the Jedi Black Series Boba Fett. Star Wars Return of the Jedi Black Series Boba Fett. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to talk about some of the spectacular details on this packaging. Up front here, a typical blister tray with both the figure and all of his accessories inside. Then up in the corner you have a logo which represents the 40th anniversary of the release of Return of the Jedi. Then over here you have Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Below that it says Boba Fett. So alongside here you have a picture of Boba Fett from the movie, and over here you have the Kenner logo. Then on the back of the packaging here, you have some more vintageness with the Star Wars logo right here, with the wraparound. Then in the middle here you have the cross-sell of all the available figures in this series. Then in the corner here it says Star Wars, the Black Series. Then below the cross-sell it says commemorate the 40th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi with figures from the Black Series featuring classic design and packaging. Then last but not least, in the corner here you have the Disney and Hasbro logo. Star Wars, the Black Series Boba Fett. Boba Fett was released on December 10th, 2022 with the suggested retail price of $33.97, and he's available exclusively at Walmart. Boba Fett was released along with the other Star Wars The Black Series 40th anniversary figures, Lando Calrissian as a skip guard, Han Solo in Endor gear, Princess Leia in Endor gear, Wicket, and Biker Scout. His accessories include 2 rifles, a backpack, 3 blast effects, and grappling hook. Boba Fett stands 6 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 4 and up. This figure was released to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Now that Boba Fett on my display table, just want to talk about some of the fantastic detailing Hasbro put into this figure. And I'm sure Hasbro's done a million versions of Boba Fett, but out of all the Boba Fetts I've come across, this one is the definitive one. I mean, just from the details of this figure. Let me bring him in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. See some of the metal scorching here? That's painted with a metallic silver paint. When you angle it in certain angles in the lighting, it has that dull luster to it. And you see this detail throughout this figure. The back of the helmet, to the chest plate, shoulder pads, forearm gauntlets, the crotch plate, and knee pads. It's a wonderful detail. You see there's also like some paint details here. There's paint details for the belt, paint details just on the mask. It was done really well. You have the insignia for the Mandalorian right there, and you got some other insignias. I don't really know what they are, but I'm sure some of you guys know. If you know, just go ahead and put them in the comments. You got some molded detail too, like the shoulder pads are molded out of separate plastic. You have the Wookiee braids that are molded out of like a rubbery plastic, kind of give a little bit more flexibility. You got the belt here that's molded out of different plastic, forearm guards. I mean, this figure was done really, really well. It's just fantastic, and just the technology they use and that they put in these figures just makes it just so wonderful for collectors nowadays. Even with this cape detail, and I've had a few Boba Fett figures. I know I had the 3 3/4 vintage collection series. They use a cloth cape for that version of Boba Fett. Here they use a plastic mold, and this molded out of a kind of a softer plastic, and it gave it kind of a fabric texture. I don't know if you guys can see the fabric fibers in it. Actually, let me see if I can get it in focus a little bit. Move my hand out of the way. But you also know there's some tears and some holes in it. Just some nice little simulated cloth feature right there, because this figure has no soft goods, and a lot of other Boba Fetts did go the option with the cloth, and I think they figured out some sort of technology to kind of simulate a fabric detail, which is really fantastic because they also used that in his pants. And when you get in really close there, you kind of see the fabric detail there also. Very nicely done. You got the boot detail. I mean, Really great details on his figure. You got the hose detail from the gauntlet to the arm right here. And even with the forearm gauntlets, there's a lot of detail there. You got the dart there. I believe you got the blowtorch right there. Just a great figure, even with down to the helmet. And this feature wasn't really featured on Return of the Jedi, but I mean, you get this antenna right here that goes up and down, which you used in Empire Strikes Back when he was hunting down Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. Very cool details. And let me get into some of the accessories. He comes with a grappling hook right here. It has a dart on the end, and he used this to try to capture Luke Skywalker because he had that bounty for Luke Skywalker. In order to arm him with this gauntlet, you have this little bracelet right here. You have to place that around one of the gauntlets. And since it was placed around, I believe it was this gauntlet. I believe this is the gauntlet that shot out the dart. You have that little detail where Boba Fett shoots out against Luke Skywalker. Pretty cool feature, but not one of my most famous or favorite accessories, but I think it's cool that they added this on because it was one of the, Boba Fett had very little screen time in the whole original trilogy, and one of the weapons he did use was that dart, and that was kind of cool, especially back then when you were a kid. You're like, wow, this guy's very diverse. There's a lot of layers to Boba Fett. Very cool villain. The other accessory I want to talk about is his trademark backpack. And this backpack, I mean, if you grew up in the 80s, you knew this backpack had a lot of urban legends, you want to say. One of those urban legends was that missile on the back here, and there was always a rumor that trigger was supposed to somehow work and shoot that missile, which was a feature for the original figure that was supposed to be released, but due to a lawsuit, they took that play feature away, and it just was a regular backpack. But this missile right here actually does detach, and we do learn in I believe it was a Mandalorian, he did fire this, or it was in the Mandalorian series that this was actually a missile. So this does detach. Pretty cool feature. In order to put it back into the backpack, you got a peg right at the end of the missile, a porthole at the top of the backpack. You just plug that right in, and you got a couple of pegs right here, and you got little tabs right there. On Boba Fett's back, you have porthole right here, 2 tab holes in the middle right here. I want to go ahead and lift up the cape. I'm going to go ahead and plug this backpack right into those portholes. Just like that. And now you have Boba Fett armed with this backpack. Really cool feature, and it makes the figure pop even more. I'm going to move that cape right over underneath that booster. But you'll notice that the backpack also has a couple boosters right there, which is, I believe, it looks like it's molded out of separate silver plastic, which is a really cool detail. Because, I mean, look at the extreme detail they put into the backpack. It's fantastically done. And on the bottom of these boosters, you have little portholes. He also comes with a couple blast effects. Right there and right there. And Hasbro makes some fantastic blast effects. They kind of mold it out of like a semi-translucent plastic. You got the dark orange detail here, you got the yellow detail here. In order to arm Boba Fett with these blast effects, you just plug the pegs right into the portholes in the bottom boosters. Just like that. And these boosters do kind of like sway in and out. Another cool feature. This figure is just fantastic. I'm going to put that in the other booster. Like that. Just go up and down. And there's so much diversity, so much detail that Hasbro put into this figure. It's really nicely done. And you also come with another blast effect right here. You got a little porthole right there, and it kind of fits into the slot right here. This forearm gauntlet where it's supposed to be the blowtorch. And you can arm Boba Fett just like that, blowing the fire in the blowtorch. Really cool detail. Really cool detail. And this was also featured in Return of the Jedi. Very important moment in Boba Fett's history. And the final accessory that he comes with is his blaster, his rifle. Really nice. And most of the time when he was holding this rifle, he was just standing in the corner off to the side, just holding his rifle. But you also get a second rifle. And for a second there, I thought Boba Fett had 2 rifles, but I looked right here and you can see this green detailing right there. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. Move my hand out of the way. But what this green's supposed to simulate is when he tried to shoot Luke Skywalker with his rifle, Luke Skywalker chopped the end of his rifle off. And that's what that scorching's supposed to be. Actually, it's a peg detail where it chops off the rifle and Boba Fett's left holding the bottom of his rifle. But in order to put this rifle back together, you grab the barrel, you have the peg right here. Get the rest of the rifle, you just plug it right back in. Just like that, it goes right in. Really nice detail. And also, you could also arm Boba Fett with this rifle. By taking his hand, you kind of see he has his trigger finger right there. And you just kind of have to pry his hands open. You gotta kind of race to like fit it in there before his hands go into the original position. It's really cool detail. And if I can get his finger in the trigger and around it, and I can get him to kind of hold his rifle like he does in Empire Strikes Back and throughout the series by standing around Jabba's palace, just like that. And now you have Boba Fett armed with his rifle. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.